species had held off extermination for 3 decades so far, a tiny slice of time to the observers, but far too great a time to leave this new species alone. They were already launching spores to other worlds within their system. Another century could see them spreading across the stars. Unacceptable. The Convergence consulted briefly before coming to the inevitable decision. The system had to be purged in order to preserve the continued well-functioning of the power-gathering system. The taint of life would soon begin to seriously affect the power pouring from the star, in the same way that the world itself was now irrevocably soured. The probe was the only asset they had in that area of the galaxy, and its capabilities were known. They sent it an order, demanding more information. The probe was of a long-range, independent reflex type, designed to turn life upon itself when encountering low-threat species. This was a different matter, something new. None of the Convergence would remotely classify this species as low threat. That made their course of action somewhat unprecedented. Unprecedented, but not impossible. A suggestion to hold was made, but rejected. The Convergence elected to follow procedures, despite them not being precisely tailored for the current situation, and instructed the probe to follow its base protocols, despite misgivings. Basic truths held at all levels of complexity. Life was predictable. It always turned upon itself. The solution that worked for microscopic life would have to suffice for the macroscopic form, at least as a delaying card. When the next battle force was freed up, the planet would be rendered down to its component atoms, the life force destroyed in perpetuity. If the star was infected by then, well, that too would be collapsed. It would be a minor loss. It was only a medium-level producer among trillions of redundant backups after all. And so the order went out, not from the galactic center, though that was where the Convergence was normally focused. It came from beyond the dimensional veil, instantly triggering the probe's cytoforming protocols. Had the Convergence considered the matter further, it might have noted that genocide was not strictly necessary at this junction. Rather, a mere slowing of the species in question would suffice and be much simpler. They did not, and so they merely conveyed a simple order to the probe. Proceed. The probe's intelligence was rudimentary compared to its master's, and so it received the order with equanimity and closed once more on the world to begin a more detailed analysis. The atmosphere contained many elements toxic to the majority of life forms to evolve so far within this galaxy and others. The probe noted those toxins briefly, determining that the local life apparently both fed the toxin levels and neutralized them. The contradiction was noted, logged, then pushed aside. The world was too badly infested for an application of toxins to be sufficient to exterminate the problem anyway. It began a sequential profile on the species within the blue-green world, classifying each by virulence, virility, rate of expansion, and overall lethality. The classification process lifted one genome to the probe's attention quite quickly. The probe advanced its agenda by the protocols, adjusting for the complexity of the genome involved, and began to look for the most aggressive strains. Pure lethality was optimal, but blind aggression was the primary requirement. Chapter 1. Fort Worth, Texas. "I'll see you on Monday, hon," former Marine Captain Alexander Hale said as he leaned over and kissed his wife. Deborah Hale leaned into his kiss, cupping his face with her hand over his shoulder, and smiled at him in the mirror as he hugged her from